Welcome back. This is Marc Rudov, branding advisor to CEOs and author of 3 books on branding for CEOs. By the way, I'm writing a new book on lying, and that's going to cover a lot of ground. So stay tuned. Today's topic, Biden, the world's worst salesman. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, this video could take 5 hours. Well, I don't have 5 hours, and I'm sure you don't either. And it's not really necessary, because I can prove in a very short period of time that he is the world's worst salesman. Let me take you back to April of 2021, when I did another video on how he was a lousy vaccine salesman. I'm going to just show you an excerpt of that because, again, we don't have the time and it isn't necessary. Roll it. Today's topic, Joe Biden is a lousy vaccine salesman. Why do I say that? Well, I'll show you. Here's a report that just came out in Business Insider. Business Insider is not the only publication to put this forth. This came out on April 22nd. America is running out of people willing to get a COVID-19 shot, and some vaccination sites are even shutting down because of a lack of demand. Well, the vaccine was the cornerstone of Biden's campaign, if you remember, and he was denouncing Trump at every turn for not taking the vaccine seriously, even though, because of Trump, we had the vaccine in 11 months. Remember warp speed? That was all Donald Trump. And we wouldn't have a vaccine today if it were not for Donald Trump. But, you know, Joe Biden, he plays fast and loose with the truth. I say he's unselling the vaccine. For example, look at him at Arlington National Cemetery, all by himself, outdoors, wearing a mask. Why would he do that? Either the vaccine works or it doesn't. And of course, the indomitable Dr. Fauci, Tony Fauci, guy who changes his mind every week, every day. We don't need a mask. We do need a mask. We need 2 masks. We need 3 masks. He's never, ever consistent. And then we have Kamala Harris, who's never believable in any situation. She's out there, outdoors, with her husband, wearing a mask. Why would she do that? She was vaccinated. Joe Biden's vaccinated. Fauci's vaccinated. And then, of course, we have doctors who are always wearing masks. Why? They're all vaccinated. Either the vaccine works or it doesn't. So you see, when you're inconsistent and when you don't have any conviction, people tend not to believe you. As you can see, Joe Biden was simultaneously telling us that the vaccine could prevent us from getting COVID, prevent us from spreading COVID, while at the same time wearing a mask, proving that the vaccine could do neither of those things. And by the way, the mask was worthless. So remember all those mask mandates? Completely useless. Just tyranny. But the point is that he unsold the vaccine by promoting masks, simultaneously telling us that the vaccine was the be-all and end-all, and at the same time telling us that it wasn't. And that's why everybody in the country didn't get a vaccine. All right, moving along. As you know, Biden has been selling Bidenomics. Bidenomics has been a disaster. Look at this Bloomberg slide. Here's the reality of Bidenomics. Everything that we buy has increased in price. Food, fuel, rent, medicine, everything. And yet, he's been telling us what a resounding success it has been. Well, that is true in one particular case. Bidenomics has been extremely good to the Biden family. Look at the homes he owns. Look at the clothes he wears. He's rolling in money. Money from Ukraine, money from Russia, money from China, money from Uzbekistan and Romania. He's rolling in it. So he's done very, very well by Bidenomics. People can see their lives declining. And yet he goes around still. 2 days ago, on January 18th, 2024, he made a campaign stop in North Carolina. Here's a snippet of what he said.
Wages are up. Household wealth is up. Not only for middle-class Americans, for Latinos, for Black Americans, for minorities. Costs are still too high, but inflation continues to fall, and mortgage rates are falling, and they're going to fall more. Last week we learned that America filed 16 million in America, 16 million new applications for businesses, for a new business since I became president. Folks, that's a record. Every single one of those new small businesses is an act of hope, an act of hope. It generates progress. People are beginning to have, and if you look at the consumer confidence, it's way up. 64%, I think maybe 62%, Americans think their personal circumstance is good and it's getting better.
So Biden is acting like his approval rating is 93%, but it's 33%. Again, ABC Ipsos poll conducted between January 4th and January 8th of 2024, this year, 33%. Extremely low, the lowest of any president in memory. Yet he acts like he's succeeding and that Americans are doing better. A good salesman respects his customers. A good salesman tells his customers the truth. Biden disrespects his customers, has disdain for his customers, and lies constantly to his customers. In this case, constituents. Only a third of America is still hanging on, and yet Biden is still hoping that he can beat Trump in November of this year. Well, as I've said before on the air, the only way that's possible is if the election is rigged. And in 2020, when Joe spent most of his time in the basement and conjured up 10 people at his rallies, I don't know, what did he have, 3 of them? It's hard to believe that that election was on the up and up. In fact, we know that it wasn't. Biden can't sell anything because he has nothing to sell. Let's take the border. The border is a disaster. Yet on September 12th of 2019, in a presidential debate in Houston, Texas, he promised us that he was going to surge the border. Watch.
What I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
You see, he promised it. So people keep asking. The Speaker of the House asks, why, Joe? Why are you doing this? Why don't you seal the border? Why should he? He promised that he wouldn't. He wants Democrat voters. Rush Limbaugh used to call them undocumented Democrats, and that's exactly what they are. He's letting them in because women in this country aren't having enough babies to replace the population, specifically the Democrat population. So he's importing them. Some people call them migrants. Some people call them immigrants. They're not. They're invaders. They don't belong here. So I have renamed Eagle Pass, Texas, Biden Pass, Texas. And what happens when 10 million unwanted invaders enter our country? They destroy the medical system, the healthcare system, the education system. They're occupying the streets, the airports. They're invading our hotels. It's unsanitary. They're sleeping on streets. They're begging for food. They're robbing people. That's what he has done. Yet he goes around telling us that we're doing better than ever than when that last president was here. He's a liar. You can only lie to people so many times before they figure it out. And they have figured it out. Again, 67% of Americans don't want this guy. So a lesson for sales and branding is you have to tell the truth and you have to respect your audience. That's why Joe Biden is the world's worst salesman. This is Marc Rudov at markrudov.com. Until next time.